What would I say? A few bananas or some bananas? What do you think? Now, I know this is a question that confuses a lot of students. These little words in English that almost have the same meaning, when do you use them? Well, you can thank your fellow student, Wang Di. He requested this video and I'm happy to make it for you. Of course, my name's Jennifer from jforrestenglish.com, and this channel is dedicated to helping you sound like a fluent, confident, natural English speaker. Now, before we go any further, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. Now, let's dive in with this video. In this video, we're talking about the difference between a few and some. These are very similar words. And remember in the introduction, I asked you, would you say a few bananas or some bananas? Well, let's talk about that. Well, first of all, you need to know that both a few and some are used to talk about an unspecified quantity. So the quantity is unspecified either because it's unknown or it's irrelevant. Irrelevant means it doesn't really matter. So if you're telling a story and your story is about bananas, it doesn't really matter that there are 3 bananas, okay? So you can just replace this with a few or some because that's not relevant to the story. So remember, they're both used for unspecified quantity. And of course, with quantity, we're talking about nouns. You use these with nouns. So of course, bananas, these are a thing, right? But you can use it with any noun. So first, let's talk about a few. Now, I want you to notice that it's a few. We need that article there. Now, a few is a small amount. Generally, you can think of it as less than 5. So when I hear a few, I think less than 5. Now, when we're talking about some, it's also used for a small quantity, but it's a larger quantity than a few. And you can think of it as between 5 and 10. That's a good reference point for some. So to summarize, a few would be less than 5. Now, honestly, probably in the range of 3 to 5, because if it was 1, I would say 1, right? If it was 2, I would say a couple of. So, all right, guys, my bananas probably won't be able to eat them by the end of this lesson, but that's okay. So this would be a couple of bananas, right? If I have 2 bananas, I'm probably going to say a couple of bananas. 1 banana, oh, my poor banana. 1 banana is obviously 1 banana. 1 banana, a couple of bananas. But if I have 3, which one would I use? Some or a few? A few, right? Because it's less than 5. A few bananas. Whereas if I had 5 or 6 bananas, then I can use some. I have some bananas. Now, let's talk about a difference between a few and some. A few is always used with countable nouns. Of course, you can count the number of bananas, right? I wish I could juggle, but I can't. You can count the number of bananas. So we can use a few or some. But let's say I have something you can't count, like water, okay? Now, with water, you can use some, but you can't use a few. So some can be used with countable and uncountable nouns. So that's one of the differences. For example, I could say there's some water on the floor. There's some water on the floor. Now, that of course means a small quantity of, because remember, you can't count the water, right? There's some water on the floor. You can think of it as a small quantity of water. Now, thinking of water is interesting because we can turn it into a countable noun, right? I could say glasses of, bottles of, right? Glasses of water. Now I can count the glasses of water. And in that case, I could use there are a few glasses of water on the table, 3 to 5. There are some glasses of water on the table, 5 to 10. Now, because a few is used with a smaller quantity than some, we generally use it in a more urgency context. So let's say I want to buy the new iPhone 11 that just came out. I might call the store and ask them if they have the new iPhone 11. And they might reply and say, we only have a few left. We only have a few left. Now, only really emphasizes it. But even if they didn't use only, we have a few left. I might get like, oh wow, I should go there now, sooner rather than later, and buy that new iPhone because they have 3 to 5, right? But if I call them and say, do you have the new iPhone? And they say, yeah, we have some left. In that case, there isn't a sense of urgency because some is a larger number than few. So when we're using it as a reply to somebody's question about quantity, a few is usually used in a more urgency context, almost more of a negative context, but some is used in a larger context. So let's summarize everything we know about a few and some. We know that both of them are used to talk about an unspecified quantity of something. They're both used with nouns. Few is only used with countable nouns. Some can be used with countable and uncountable nouns. Few is about 3 to 5. Some is about 5 to 10. And some is always a larger number than few. All right, now you have everything you need to know to talk about a few and some. So don't stop there. Make sure you leave a comment. Leave a comment practicing with a few and with some. And to really practice, why not use some with both a countable and uncountable noun? So in total, there would be 3 sentences that you leave in the comments. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe. Now, before you go, make sure you head on over to my website, jforrestenglish.com, and download your free speaking guide. In this guide, I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. And until next time, happy studying. All right, now you know the difference between these 2 confusing words, a few and some. Don't forget to practice in those comments and of course subscribe as well. Can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye!